What is going on, everyone? It is your boy Kazak here, and today I am back at y'all with another Dynasty Warriors video. So, as you guys know, in the past couple of days, we recently got the announcement of a Dynasty Warriors 3 complete remaster, and I did a whole little reaction video towards it, and oh man, it is so freaking beautiful. Once again, this is just one of those type of announcements that I would have never expected to happen, but it's here. We finally got it, a remaster of Dynasty Warriors 3, one of the most beloved games in the entire franchise here. In this video, I just kind of wanted to go over some of my thoughts about this particular announcement and just kind of talk about some of the things I would like to see from it, some things I do have a little bit of concerns for, and just kind of go over all the current information that we have about this particular Dynasty Warriors 3 remaster, and just sort of have a quick little discussion about everything going on. So right out the gate, let's just talk about what Dynasty Warriors 3 Remaster is all about. And I'm going to be reading this stuff from the official website. And here we go. Dynasty Warriors 3 and Dynasty Warriors 3 Extreme Legends, which established the foundation of the entire series, returns its striking modern detail. Aim for the peak of 1 versus 1,000 action in this even more thrilling revival. Now, when it comes to the visuals, it is using Unreal Engine 5, and they have recreated the officers and battlefields of Dynasty Warriors 3 in beautiful detail. Enjoy battles that are still beloved to this very day. Now, one of the things I did see that some people had concerns for was the fact that they are using Unreal Engine 5, since apparently Unreal Engine 5 has had a little bit of issues when it comes to certain games. I know games like Metal Gear Solid Delta had a little bit of issue there when it comes to the engine and stuff like that. But in my opinion, I think that Koei/Omega Force is probably going to find a way to sort of navigate around this engine, and hopefully the game runs extremely well and looks pretty good on top of that as well. So I don't know how concerned I am about that, because again, I don't have too much experience when it comes to Unreal Engine 5 games, but I am confident that they will find some sort of solution when it comes to all that. Now let's talk about the action here. While recreating the movement of the original game, the action system of Dynasty Warriors 3 has evolved to create an even more exhilarating experience. Enjoy a fresh take on 1 versus 1,000 where tradition and innovation intertwine. So just from this little sentence here alone, it does sound like as if Dynasty Warriors 3 Remaster is going to kind of keep that same familiar feel that the OG game had, while implementing its own unique sort of mechanics into it as well, which is pretty much what I expected. At most, I think this is probably going to have a little bit of OG Dynasty Warriors 3 mixed in with some Origins type of feel to it as well. One of the things I also mentioned in my past video was the difficulty and how they would navigate around that. In my personal opinion, I would definitely hope that they can keep that same balance like they did with OG Dynasty Warriors 3, because the thing about this game in particular is that Dynasty Warriors 3 plays very differently from how modern Dynasty Warriors games are. Because, when it comes to modern Dynasty Warriors games, they're always more super flashy. You're just mowing down hundreds and thousands of soldiers at such an incredible speed and all that stuff. But Dynasty Warriors 3 was not like that. Dynasty Warriors 3 was a little bit more like a slower, methodical kind of game where you kind of had to take down peons one by one. You had to really fight against these enemies, especially against officers. Those guys were no joke. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle the difficulty here. In my opinion, I don't think it's going to be as hard as the OG Dynasty Warriors 3 version. Instead, I think it's probably going to take a little bit more of a different approach here, especially since with all these enemies on the screen, I don't think we are going to reach that similar level of difficulty, but I am holding out hope that they will give us a decent challenge. Now let's move on to the next thing here, and this is about Dynasty Warriors 3 and Dynasty Warriors 3 Extreme Legends. Play as more than 40 different officers in the world of the Three Kingdoms, taking on thrilling and tactical battles of 1 versus 1,000 across vast battlefields. Dynasty Warriors 3 was the first game in the Dynasty Warriors series to feature mechanics that will become a mainstay for the series, such as true Muso attacks, 2-player simultaneous play, and the officer development system. It was also the first game of the series to sell more than 1 million copies. That's actually pretty interesting. The Dynasty Warriors 3 Extreme Legends expansion featured new stories for 7 officers, including Lu Bu, Meng Huo, and Yuan Shao, as well as bodyguard customization, new weapons, and 4 types of challenge modes, providing even more gameplay to enjoy here. Now, as we go down through the website, we can see that all the platforms it's going to be available for PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch, Xbox Series X and S, and Steam. And the release date is March 19th, 2026. And we can see here this little interesting detail that says players 1 to 2. So that does confirm that Dynasty Warriors 3 will have a co-op, both local co-op. Now, I don't know if that includes online co-op, since some of the newer games do include online co-op, but we do know that multiplayer is in the game without a doubt. So yeah, this is all the current information that we have officially by Koei Tecmo and Omega Force when it comes to this particular remaster. And I think this is a really, really cool thing to see, that they're going to be featuring all this content in the game, including the Extreme Legends stuff, which is very, very great. It makes everything feel like, complete, just like the title says. Now, one of the things I find very interesting is that they said that the game is going to include more than 40 playable characters. So maybe this adds a possibility that we might get some additional characters like Zui Lan from Dynasty Warriors Origins, who was supposedly hinted at the end of the announcement trailer, or some people have also speculated that it could be Yukimura from Samurai Warriors, which will also be a pretty cool pick. But in general, I think this is a very interesting thing to do and give us some extra characters. Maybe give us some characters from from the newer Dynasty Warriors games that are very well beloved. You can add characters like Wang Yi or Lu Lingqi in there, or possibly like some of the, try to add some of these newer Dynasty Warriors characters that are considered to be fan favorites. But I don't know if they're going to really go that far. I don't know for sure, because that would also mean they would have to get new voice actors from them. They would have to include them in the different scenes and all that stuff. So we don't know how far they will go with that when it comes to the character roster. But the great thing is that we do have all the OG cast playable in this game, which is absolutely amazing to see, because one of the biggest things that annoyed people about Dynasty Warriors Origins was the fact that you could only play as one character, and that one character was not exactly the most well liked with people, especially since Wei Lan as a character is just kind of a blank slate. He's not really a actual character, at least to a lot of people's eyes and stuff like that. So it is going to feel incredibly refreshing that we're going to have all the OG officers again. We're going to be slicing and dicing with them once more. So that is very, very dope. The biggest thing that I'm looking for when it comes to this remaster is that it feels modernized, but still familiar. And what I mean by that is that, of course, the remaster is going to include a good amount of different quality of life adjustments to the game itself. We're probably going to see some new additions added on here, whether that be in terms of gameplay, alongside some other little stuff here. We know that stuff is going to be added in here for a newer audience and all that good stuff. But I do hope that they strike this good balance where they also leave a lot here for veteran players to come back to and really enjoy, and keep so many of the better elements from Dynasty Warriors 3 that we all love. Even the one bad quality, or good quality, depending on how you view it, which is the voice acting. It's very much a part of the Dynasty Warriors 3 experience. It is infamous in a very good way, because it's just so iconic and funny to hear these kind of voices from that era. So it would be really nice if they added stuff like that as an option. I'm talking about stuff like that. So with this remaster project, I think this is going to be a very, very interesting experiment for Omega Force to see how this type of thing goes. Because if this goes off very, very well, I can see them doing this for Dynasty Warriors 4. I can see them doing this for Dynasty Warriors 5, potentially even Dynasty Warriors 6, which I think would be a absolutely great thing to do, because that game had a lot of issues. So it would be great if they could fix that up and give it the high quality remaster treatment. Although, to be honest here, with the way that this game is looking, I'm very shocked that they're calling this a remaster. I mean, for real, this looks like a full-blown remake of the game. This might as well just be called a remake, and I don't think anybody would have any issues with that, because, I mean, look at this. Look at all the new footages and information that we got on this game. It just looks so different and amazing. But yeah, ultimately, that's kind of what I'm looking for here with this remaster, is that it keeps all the great elements about Dynasty Warriors 3, because at the end of the day, this is still one of the most beloved Dynasty Warriors titles for a reason, because of the fact that it was completely different from how a lot of the newer modern Dynasty Warriors games are, where, while I still do enjoy like Dynasty Warriors 7 and 8 and all that good stuff, these games just had a completely different feel compared to the original PS2 versions. And honestly, I think that this is probably the best way to bring back these older games. Overall, I am extremely excited for the Dynasty Warriors 3 Remaster. The game looks great, and I really just want to see gameplay footage. I want to see this game move in action so that we can examine it and break everything down bit by bit. But of course, we're going to have to wait on that one for a little bit of time. But I'm curious to see what you guys feel about it in the comment section below. And if there's any additional information that I may have left out or not known about, feel free to put that in the comment section below as well. So, with all that said, this was your boy Kazak, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.